feeling so small. Watch the clock ticking off the wall. But tonight I'm letting it go. Spend my coin for sure. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now.
Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Happy Halloween to all of you guys who are watching today. If you are new here, welcome. If you are my Patreon subscribers, welcome back. So for today's video, we have a very wonderful special today. You guys chose the topic. We're going to be talking about the Salem Witch Trial and the real witches lived and the innocent people who died. I'm trying to go into this video with an open mind and just allowing whatever comes to me to come in this video. You can feel free to participate in this video. I would love for you to participate in any way that you would love to. Feel free to communicate with others, talk to others in the live chat. Just have fun with it. It's going to be a fun video today. I did have some sort of feeling earlier when I was reading up on the history so I could be able to understand a little bit deeper about Salem in general. And I had a feeling that we may potentially experience a visitation today. And I just asked my spirit guides to vet them and make sure that they are of pure intentions. And I'm hoping that if they do come in and talk to me, hopefully they'll be able to tell about their story and we'll be able to hear it directly from the source. But I cannot guarantee or promise that because I'm not going to force them in if they're not going to come. Okay? I just want to make sure I put that out there already. Now, everything in this video is going to be timestamped in the description. So this video will be broken down if you want to go to certain segments. And feel free to ask questions. I'm happy to be open to all of it. Again, some of it, terms of wishes depend on the question that you ask. If it's dark, negative energy remaining there, I may not be willing to touch that just because I want to make sure that I keep myself and you guys protected. So I did put a protection on for all of us. So if you want to do your protection as well, it's an extra protection, feel free to go ahead. But all you guys have your protection. I did this before I went live with the video. So let's begin, shall we? And thank you all for showing. I do appreciate that. So this video is being recorded on October 29, 2022 at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And on my phone, you can kind of see it here. It had 9:35 and it is Saturday, October 29th. And this is the current news cycle. So you can kind of see the news article here with Biden and Pelosi. Okay, let's get into it, shall we? So here are some quick disclaimers on your screen right now. Feel free to read them on your own time. And please keep in mind, this video is just for entertainment purposes only and for education purposes only as well. And here are some quick other disclaimers. Just feel free to read them on your own time. Let me just see what you guys are saying in the live chat. Hi, Paula. Hi, Julie. Hi, Sarah. Thank you guys for coming. Unfortunately, I was unable and didn't have enough time to contact someone to be able to talk to them, talk to me, and be able to interview them. Potentially, maybe that's something that I would like to do in the future. But yeah, but let's just get right into it, shall we? Have tons of great questions today. Feel free to ask some questions. I only have 3, and the rest is up to you guys or whatever happened in this video. Okay, so first question that we have here is this just came to me randomly when I was typing it. Salem, Salem, Salem. What about them? What happened? The real story. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to ask the tarot card today, kind of understand the general consensus about what happened to Salem. Now, quickly before we do this, I want to give a little bit of a quick background. This is only going to take 2 seconds. What was the Salem Witch Trial? The Salem Witch Trial was a series of hearings and prosecutions of people accused of witchcraft in colonial Massachusetts between February 1692 and May 1693. 14 of them were women, and all but one were hanged. The one that wasn't hanged were the one who was pressed down by weight. 5 others, including 2 infants and children, died in prison. And unfortunately, a lot of people have died, and with a direct correlation within 1 year. It can only get any worse had the witch trials have gone on longer. So we're going to find out what is the story. Now, please keep in mind that this witch trial in Massachusetts took place by hanging. The ones in Europe with the witches, they burned them. So there's 2 very different distinctions. I want to make sure I make that very clear. So let's see, spirit angels. Let's see. What are my energies being drawn to? I took out some wishes on Halloween things to kind of really feel where it's going. So spirit, tell me what's the best deck that will be able to foretell the story of Salem Witches? Okay, so we're gonna use this deck. This is actually by Spirit Halloween. If you guys don't know the story, it's the Halloween story. We also have Wishes, the Modern Witch Tarot deck. And this is what I was told to use just moments ago. This is why I picked them out. Okay, let's see. So this is going to be the deck that we're going to use to really foretell the story of Salem. Okay, it may go against everything that is set in history. So I'm just going to allow whatever to come through, okay? And you let me know what you guys are thinking or what you believe or what you see or what you have been hearing. I'm curious to see what you guys get as well. So feel free to do the same thing or do some cards on it as we go. So spirits and angels tell me, Salem, 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 what about them? What happened? The real story to the Salem Witch Trials. Okay. It is done. It's the story in this order. Okay. So the first card that we have here is we have the Page of Cups. And the Page of Cups is kind of really indicating the time period in which the pilgrims coming from Europe landed in the Mayflower, and it landed on that rock in early Europe, in early America. And it was almost at this time, this new rebirth, this revitalization of religion. And it felt like, in a way, it was a way forward for a new idea to emerge and stuff. It almost feels like, in a way, it was a new way for religion to create a new name of some sort. It almost feels like the goal was, in this aspect, was to become the dominating religious force in the Western Hemisphere. And it feels like, in a way, it was going very well until we all know what happened. And that's the first card. Salem is the bride from the Hebrew Shalom, meaning peace. Thank you, Julie. That is very, very interesting. And that's really ironic considering what really happened. So the cards that followed were, we have the Eight of Wands, Hydra. Now, if you guys haven't been following, Marvel with the Red Skull, and it was depicted and based off World War II as Hitler, and Hitler was considered as the Red Skull in Marvel, and Marvel was known as Hydra, and that was a snake of some sort. It was also, I think it was an octopus. Now I don't remember, but I think it was an octopus if I'm correct. But that's beside the point. The point is here, it is talking about how it went from a religious dominant in the Western Hemisphere to darkness and being spelled, witchcraft. The idea that, people could be playing with magic of some sort. Now, a lot of you guys may not know, but witchcraft has been around way before the birth of Christianity. And it was actually under the ideal or the umbrella of paganism. And so this has been a thing that's been ongoing practice for centuries before even religion came onto the scene. So all our ancestors even practiced some form of witchcraft, whether they were good or bad. The next card that comes follow is the Cup of the King of Cups. And this is the Orc. And what does it kind of really show me here is that there's almost like this dominance, this idea that now they've established that religious dominance in the Western Hemisphere, that they were going to be the determining force, at least in the area where Salem was. And what it's really telling me here, what really happened was that Salem was trying to make a name for itself by trying to get a hold of all this and say, hey guys, look over here, we're getting control of the situation. We are actually getting rid of the bad people and we're doing good. We're superior than New York, we're superior than Florida, stuff like that. It's almost like a superiority contest. It's almost like a competitive contest between different cities, trying to say that I'm the best. We have here the reverse, the magician, the warlock. And this is ironic, considering that this reading is particularly about magic or black magic or witchcraft. And what it falls under the Page of Cups, right? And, we're talking about the story of Salem Witch Trial and how it originally started. And it's all based on a myth. The myth was that if you didn't agree or you did something that was abnormal in a way, they would automatically deem it to be the work of the devil. And you still see this in our reality. You still see this in our everyday life. You know, people who don't understand certain things, the first thing they go to, work of the devil. You see with our grandparents, right? Work of the devil. You know, that type of stuff, that be type of understanding, the mindset is not far off. Think about it this way. The modern understanding, if you really want to go into, you know, the past 2 years, people will blame the certain reaction or behavioral patterns of certain people, where they will automatically blame them and say, they're vaccinated, they've been vaccinated. You know, the type of behavior is coming from the same understanding, the same hysteria mindset that is just during Salem. So the question is, it's not out of the ordinary when you try to compare the two. You understand the psychological consequences between our reality and the past is that we're not actually anywhere different than Salem ones a couple of centuries ago. If not, we're actually the same. We haven't really moved past or progressed that far. Yes, technology has changed, our lives have changed, but our mindset is still very well in the 1600s. Except maybe instead of blaming the devil this time, you might have found a new enemy and say, vaccine, not vaccinated, you know, those type of things. We replace the enemy with a new idea, a new product, but yet the concept, the mindset is still the same. It is still as relevant today as it was back then. And the card that follows after that, we have the Quetzalcoatlus. What is the Ace of Swords? And the Ace of Swords is your mental capacity, your understanding, your ability to think clearly. And this is the serpent. Now, a lot of you guys, you know, if you think of the snake that's wrapped around the health pole. You know, the pole in in the health symbol. You know how the health symbol has like a snake wrapped around it and it symbolizes health? Well, health and wellness. Well, in this aspect, this is kind of giving me this energy, this vibe. And what is telling me that what really happened in Salem, now again, this is just for entertainment purposes only, what happened was it was a medical condition. There was some sort of either some sort of poison or some sort of health decline in, or some sort of illness that was being widespread. Potentially it was food poisoning, maybe potentially it was even mercury poisoning, whatever it really was. There was something that was detrimental to the person's individual health that made them act erratical. And because they acted erratical in some way, they are unable to act as a functioning normal human during that time period, which made people be very suspicious of some sort of witchcraft going on. So in terms of the story of what happened to Salem, what it appears to be is that it seemed to be all about religious dominance. It seemed to be about incorporating this idea of misunderstanding and blaming the unseen enemy. The idea that you cannot understand something because you cannot see it, so therefore you blame it on the enemy, or you create an entity and you blame it on that because it makes more sense to be able to rationalize what is going on, rather than to really understand and step back that maybe it's okay that the unknown is unknown to you. Because as time goes on, those unknown will become known to you. Nothing is going to stay hidden forever. And this is what the Ace of Swords is hinting. It's hinting that there was some sort of mental illness and it was potentially caused by some sort of health ailment that was causing these people to act erratic. And the final card to really what happened to Salem is we have the Nine of Pentacles, and that is Frankenstein. It is kind of like basically in the aspect, it is kind of like this card is indicating here that there's some sort of brainwashing, there's some sort of brain reformation, there's some sort of force mindset thinking. And you kind of see that here. Right, the Frankenstein. Now, the Frankenstein is actually, I feel, I'm going to do this on another video, potentially maybe next Halloween or even this year. Even I was thinking about, because I didn't get it for so long, that the Frankenstein story, even though it is fictional, it will become a nonfiction. And that is something that's going to happen later down in the future. And so that is something that I'm going to talk about in another video. But what's really interesting is that the story of Frankenstein came about around the late 1800s into early 1900s, meaning that our great-grandparents have been around since the birth of the story of Frankenstein. And that is really what's really interesting here, because this comes in and it shows about the birth of something new and the mindset being changed from an early adolescent or childhood, forcing them to be brought up in a concept that is so bizarre that anybody else who tells them something different, it seems like that those people are the enemy. And that is what I'm seeing here, that this is something a long time in the making leading up to what happened in Salem. This is all about brainwashing at an early childhood that led to this very moment, that led to the point of 20 people being killed in Salem because of some sort of indoctrination of some sort to try to force these people to think a certain way that is considered abnormal. So the story of Salem appears to be about religious dominance. It appears to be about misunderstanding of the hidden enemy, which in this case might have been a virus or a mental illness of some sort. It might have been the direct cause of some sort of foodborne illness. And it appears to be that there's some sort of indoctrination going on around the same time Salem was starting to set up as an actual name for itself. So that is the story of Salem. At least that's what I see. Okay, so the king of Salem in the book of genetics was, I don't know how to say that, the righteous king who was considered a great religious mystic. The religious mystic could also be considered a magician or wizard. Okay, that's interesting that the magician card falls underneath the page of cup, which is the birth of Salem. We have here the Cretaceous is a snake on a pole. Thank you. Thank you. That is what they call it, the house symbol, for any of you guys who don't know that. It comes from the book of Exodus. Moses held it up before people cured the plague. Later, the condotters was recreated as the god Mercury staff with the wings. He was the god of medicine to the Romans. Thank you for that, Julie. That's very informative. That is extremely informative. Okay, so we're going to do Julie's question. Yes, I got your question. I was lucky enough to be able to get it before I went live, because sometimes when a question has been uploaded for too long, it has a tendency to gap it. I'm just going to drink some water. Okay, so I'd like to know what they think of the popularization of witchcraft in modern day Salem, the center of New Age and wiccan-style covens and organization. So are you asking me, Julie, are you specifically talking about the potentiality of people almost like in a way fantasizing or even having widespread popularization of witchcraft? But also, are you asking for the opinions of people who died in Salem? Is that what you're referring to? Or are you asking for my opinion in general? Or the tarot card's opinion? Just so I kind of know who to ask. But while I'm waiting for her response, what's really interesting about the popularization of Wiccan and witchcraft in general, seems to be on par with people who have been marginalized by a group or is a minority group, is more likely to become a part of the Wiccan or witchcraft type of popularization or genre, but particularly because they are seen as outcasts. And so therefore they look towards those type of avenues to be able to understand themselves to become a part of something bigger than themselves, be feeling like they are part of a group. And that's what's really interesting as well, is that how well spread and how widespread this popularization of witchcraft really is. Now, we're going to go into a little bit in depth and later in this video the difference between good and bad witches. I myself had some extremely bad experiences with witches, but that's not to say that there are not any good witches. And we're going to go a little bit more in depth with that. I personally would love to have interviewed a good witch. There is a coven that was recommended, I believe, by Stara, but don't quote me on it, who recommended a coven who I destined to really try to help Earth in general. And I would love to have been able to interview them today in this video, but unfortunately, I haven't had enough time to reach out to them. But sometime later on in the year, I'll be more than happy to do an interview with them, and you'll be able to ask them directly what they think, or even like who they are and what they do as a good witch. I myself don't identify as a witch at all. Oh, yes. Okay. That's only if they come into the video. I'm not going to force them, but I did have a feeling that they would show up at some point in this video. So if you want us to put this question on hold, we can. Lori Colbat is the official witch of Salem. She began the coven in Salem, and they are online worldwide. Make sure to hit the button. Thank you, Paula. Yes, guys, definitely hit the button because that will definitely help this video in particular. But while we're waiting, and potentially maybe they may come in or may not, let's just act the cards and see what the cards think of the specific question. So, Spirits and Tarot, of the entire world, how do you feel about the popularization, the very quick popularization of modern day witchcraft being widespread in today's world? What is the ramification, whether that is good or positive or bad? Can you give us a little bit more detail, Spirit? Oh, thank you, Star. You don't have to do that, but I appreciate it. Thank you, love. I am back. Yes, guys. I've been working 2 jobs back to back, so I've been trying my best to get as much videos as possible. I am experiencing a little bit of difficulty with the 2024 election, trying to get that video to be uploaded, but eventually I'll be able to finish out the video. Thank you for your donations, Star, by the way. So, Spirit Angels, tell me, how do you feel about this quick popularization of witchcraft around the world? Does it have any good ramifications or any bad ramifications? Okay, so we have red here. Ooh, this is cute. Okay, we'll keep this card then. I've never seen that card before. Okay, anything else, Spirit? Hey, this is the card that I have not seen yet, so we'll be able to see that together. Thank you, Julie. I appreciate that. You guys don't have to do that, but I do appreciate that. Thank you. So, let's really get into the nitty-gritty up there. Let's see how Tarot feels about it. So the first card that we have here is we have the Modern Witch. Now, this does have some curse words, so if you do have a child, I'm not going to read the curse word. I'm just going to read the first letter. But if you want to kind of turn the head away, you feel free to do that. It says here, you are a being full of life, love, and possibility. Through this deck, may you find a path back to your best self. And this card is reversed. And what it is kind of telling me here is kind of showing that the idea of very quick monetization and very quick popularization of witchcraft in general is going to create a very bad problem worldwide. One of those problems that I see is that a lot of people are spreading misinformation. You may see this on TikTok if you are on TikTok, spreading false misinformation or even trying to make people do chanting or even do dancing and stuff like that, or even do some things that they don't quite understand or grasp the concept of the veil between good and evil. Because what I've learned is I'm not a witch myself. I don't do any spells. I don't do any of that. I don't even touch that. I'm not even witch of any sort. But I have spoken to people who have said that the veil between the fine line when talking and, doing some sort of spell, there's a very fine line. If you accidentally mess up a word or you say something or you have the wrong intention, the wrong emotion, but when you do something, you can easily change that intention to go really good or really bad. And that's how very fine line that intentional line is, especially when practicing witchcraft. So what I'm seeing in this red card here is a very alarming warning sign for the widespread popularization in terms of modernization of witchcraft. It is saying that be very wary of practicing what you don't understand. Now, if you understand what you're doing, you understand it to the full extent and the consequences that come with it, by all means, do it. But what it is telling you here, it is saying that you gotta understand what you're doing, because if you do it and you half-assed it, you are not going to get the right result, and you might actually end up in trouble. So the best thing to do, if you don't know what you're doing, don't do it at all. That's a simple explanation, but a lot of people on TikTok are popularizing this idea of witchcraft in such a strong way that it's almost in a way it is indoctrinating the modern generation. My parents are on TikTok, they're watching this type of stuff and just spitting out things. They're like, oh, well, I don't believe the doctors. I don't believe the people who went to, get their doctorate degree and stuff like that to become a doctor. And they instead chose to believe people who have no doctorate degree at all, who are preaching stuff on YouTube and is on TikTok. Like we all said, even back then, take everything with a grain of salt. And in this case, it is saying here that just because you heard something on TikTok about how to do something in terms of witchcraft, take that with a grain of salt. And if you kind of want and you're really interested in it, do some background research on it. Don't just go out and just put your forehead into it. You just say, you know what, I saw this lighting tech, let's just do it. Without any sort of understanding or back end to really grasp the concept. Now, the card that also comes next to it is strength. A lot of these people don't have good intentions. A lot of these people who practice the art of magic in this aspect here, in terms of what modern witchcraft, I feel in a way have not healed their inner child. And because they haven't healed their inner child, they have this very revengeful feeling inside of them where they are very angry. They're very angry at people, even when they don't mean to be, but that emotion has not been healed. And so when you cast a spell on something or do something, that emotion would be brought up during the spell, changing the trajectory of the intentional request of the person practicing that magic. Now, I have no background in magic of anything, any sort. I'm just reading exactly what I'm seeing here in terms of energy and understanding. I have barely any understanding at all, if even. And so what I'm telling you from the purity of my heart, to not do it unless you have proper understanding and experience to be able to practice it. Now, personally, even if I did have experience or understanding, I won't even practice it. I don't even touch it because it's not my thing. I have better things to do. I'm not saying that you guys don't, for those who practice it, but I have better skills that I can focus on, like becoming a Reiki healer, maybe potentially talking to people and guiding them into the light. I have other skills that I would like to focus on, and witchcraft is not one of them because I'm not a witch. That's not who I am. I don't identify as that. Just because I do tarot doesn't mean it's witchcraft. Just want to make sure that is very clear. Now, the next card that does follow here is the World. A lot of people believe that, in a way that, just because everybody has this gift inside of them to become the witch or be able to practice witchcraft or some sort of magic or have some sort of psychic ability with some spiritual gift, what it is saying here, just because everybody has it, doesn't mean you should be doing it. And the reason for that is that, again, it comes back to intention. If you have not healed that aspect of you, to be able to clearly clean your mind or be able to separate your emotion, your opinion, but when you're reading, if you cannot do that, you do not belong doing what you're doing, right? And this is what this card is here. The World's card is reversed, and it's saying here that a lot of those people don't understand the concept that just because you can do it, just because everybody can do it, doesn't mean they should. That's like saying, everybody can be a construction worker, right? But everybody shouldn't be a construction worker because you have no background knowledge on how to be a construction worker, which means that chances are you're going to die because you don't know what you're doing, right? That is what this card is saying. They're not going to die by practicing witchcraft. Well, I don't know the actual consequences of witchcraft, so don't quote me on that. But, in a way, you don't understand the consequences of what you're going to get yourself into. It's really what I'm trying to hint at. At the back, at the last card here, we have the Moon card, illumination. A lot of those illuminating factors is that the card is telling me right here. Now, a lot of those consequences are hidden. And I assume, based on what I'm getting in this card, that when you practice the art of magic or the art of witchcraft, you don't get those effects like that. Sometimes it may take a long time to really feel out the consequences of your own actions, right? Earth, as you all know, is equilibrium. It thrives on the idea of harmony. So when the harmony is disrupted, it needs to give. If you want to take something, you must give something in return. It's a give and take system. It's a bartering system. If you don't got something to give, that's okay because they're going to take it from you. And you're better off knowing what you want to give before you take something, right? And this is kind of really indicating the darkness, the dark void that is coming for a lot of those people. And that is that dark entity, that dark spirit. And sometimes, in a way, I don't mean to freak anybody out, but it does say here that a lot of those people who don't understand the consequences, if they don't have anything else to give, the only thing that they will have to give left would be their energy, their soul. And that is what this card is coming to. It is saying that eventually when you have nothing left to give, the last thing that will be taken from you will be your soul. And I don't mean to freak you out, but you do need to understand the consequences of what you get yourself into. Like I said, witchcraft is a very fine line between good and evil. Now, if you are good and you're doing with the right intention, that soul won't be dissipated. But if you do it with the wrong intention, with the wrong emotions, then there's a high probability that you will end up losing your soul some point down the line due to certain consequences of something that you did when you practiced it. So in terms of the answer to your question, Julie, is that the idea of popularized um, witchcraft, it appears to be that it is warning people that just because everybody can do it doesn't mean they should. And the story is that there are consequences for your action. Question: if we have soul contract before we incarnate, um, what was the purpose of the contract for these victims to die convicted of witchcraft in Salem? What is the message to the world? I think that's a beautiful question. That is a beautiful question. So we're going to explore that. Hi, Sharon. Hello, my love. Thank you, my love. Everybody, if you guys have not checked out her YouTube channel, definitely go check that out. Me and her will be talking about Donald Trump sometime down in the future. We'll be talking about our experiences as YouTubers, talking about Donald Trump and some of the predictions that we made that came true, some of the things that didn't, and how it felt to really be a YouTuber during the age of Trump. And that's gonna be really interesting to see sometime down the line. So if you guys are interested, go check out her channel. The best way. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Terra Familiar. The best way to answer the specific question about contract or life contract, soul contract. Sharon, if you have anything to say into this, definitely say something. Because I know you know a lot about the type of stuff, so this would be ideal. Not like to put you on the spot here. Okay. Okay, so question. If we have soul contracts or spirit angels, as you know, us having soul contracts and stuff before we incarnate, what was the purpose of the soul contract for those who have been victims or befell as victim of the Salem Witch Trial? What was the message? And what message does the world need to know about the victim of the Salem Witch Trial? Okay, I got told that this is the wrong deck. So I am going to switch that deck to the Halloween. We're going to be using this one. Okay, Spirit Angel, same question. What was the purpose of the soul contract of those who befell a victim of the Salem Witch Trial? What message were they supposed to send to the world? Thank you. For those who became a victim of the Salem Witch Trial, what was their soul contract and purpose? What message was supposed to be sent out and will be well known? Okay, so the thing was the existence of witches. That was the first thing that came to me. Was the prevalence, the high prevalence of actual people with actual abilities. Okay. So this is the card that we have here. The card that we have here is Nice Song, which actually, ironically enough, this is my favorite bird. This is the cardinal. And it talks about the hidden talent. And we're talking about the soul contract of those who have passed and who were hanged in Salem Witch Trial. And those soul contracts were to be the hidden talent. That even though they don't have the talent themselves, but the talent, the story that is being told from generation to generation beyond the graves after their death. And what it is indicating here, it is indicating a rebirth of something new. Right? You guys know that cardinals are a time of winter, which ironically enough is where the idea of witches started to formulate, because people were in close quarters during the winter time periods when this all started to come about. And what is it then also indicating that during this dark, cold time, that in a way, the soul contrast in the womb. Now we're talking about the womb here. Inside the womb, but almost like it's a rebirth of something. But in a way, these people who have passed understood that the only purpose on this earth was to be able to give birth to the idea of people with actual skills and ability. And that is not saying that these people died for other people, not like Jesus, where he died for people's sins according to the Christian Bible. But what we're talking about here is that these people understood that their main purpose was to spread the name and the understanding that witches do indeed exist. But those people who died had no talent. They had no abilities whatsoever to perform what they were accused of. And so it brought forward the popularization of modern witchcraft, as we just spoke about in the previous question. And the card that comes here is the Nine of Cups. And the Nine of Cups here is almost indicating almost completion, this fulfillment. There's almost this holy grail. There's almost towards the end of some sort. And what is it indicating here? That is the soul contracted that they understood that this was going to be their entire last lifetime. And they wanted to make sure that the legacy that they put forward was to be a legacy that would be foretold generations beyond when they died. The card that falls underneath the Night Song, which is the hidden talent, is the Ten of Swords, being stabbed in the back in the original Rider-Waite Tarot deck. And this card is indicating mental challenges, but in this case, it is not. It is indicating jail or teeth. But I kind of see the zigzag, it looks like teeth. And what this is indicating here is that, in a way, it was supposed to indicate the corrupt system and the corrupt mental challenges that modern day humans in our world still face today from the past. So it is really indicating the deep understanding of psychological misunderstanding of what took place during the Salem Witch Trial and the possibility of it reoccurring again. It is a premonition, a warning of some sort of what may happen in the future as well. So in order for us to really know what may happen or how it may happen, we must take a look at the past. Because the past had a tendency to repeat itself. And this is indicating here that the past could possibly repeat itself. And so these people have understood that their goal was to put forth this idea and forward into the media, into these people's lives, and into the stories that will be told later on, that in a way it brought forward the modernization of modern witchcraft. But what it has also done, it has also idealized the possibility of a brand new witch trial taking place sometime in the future. You know, we all have heard Donald Trump say it's like the witch trial, the witch hunt, you know, stuff like that. Those ideas being thrown around, and the more that's being said, the more it's being talked about, that brings forth the possibility of it being manifested into our reality again. Like I said before early in the video, the mindset is still there, right? We are only just started understanding the mental illnesses that take place in modern humans, right? We still share the same mental challenges as those who have came before us. We have not progressed mentally. We have progressed technologically, but we have not progressed mentally. And this is really where it comes into play with the soul contract. The card that follows is the Five of Swords, people fighting. And what it is indicating here as well is that political dominance and the separation of church and state is needed. Now, real reason why the Salem Witch Trials happened was the lack of proper checks and balances in place in the judicial system that led to the fault and the death of 20 people. Right? Now you're starting to see it in our modern day. You're starting to see it in our political reality where the church and state are becoming in unison again, with the Supreme Court ruling in the abortion Roe versus Wade. And that is really what the Supreme Court and the Salem Witch Trial are indicating, that the possibility that this may not be far-fetched going forward. We already had the mental challenges of the past. We just need the right situation, the right corruption to reinvigorate the possibility of a brand new witch trial. It may not be the witches like you may think, but it may bring a whole new meaning. And one of those meanings potentially could be that those new modern witches with consequences for the action, who don't quite understand what they're doing because they lack the proper understanding on how and what they're doing, that could cause consequences, could very well bring forth the witch trial, because this time, compared to what happened in the past, these people would actually be classified as actual witches who actually practice witchcraft. And that will be the distinction between the past and modern day in the world. This is not just talking about the United States, this is talking about global. Hi, Heart Journey. What's up, my love? And the final card here as well, as you see here, is the Five of Wands. And the Five of Wands here is just saying that in order to really bring forth this idea and understanding the soul contract, is to understand the idea that you don't need to use magic to get what you need. You just need to manifest positivity and love. With the proper intentions, you shall get what you receive. You don't need to resort to some sort of negativity. There's negative emotion to get what you want, or there's quick impatient, because magic in a way is very quick. It's easy to do, and you can do it like that. With the wrong emotions, you can get the wrong results. And what this is indicating here, in terms of what is being told, is that they're saying to resort to like manifestation type things or type techniques, rather than just going really quick like that. Hi, Lauren. What's up? Lauren and Sharon, you guys are watching me together. What do you guys think of that? You guys think this is like, what is this resonating? But that is what I see in terms of soul contrast. So really a generic message of what is being said here to kind of keep it simple. To recap here, it is indicating that it's supposed to show a highlight of popularized witchcraft in modern day America, to pass down the legacy of what happened in the past, to kind of reinvigorate the possibility of it reoccurring again. It talked about the separation of church and state and how that is important. It talked about the corruption and the imbalance of checks and powers in the judicial system and how easily it could be corrupted. It talks about the soul contract, and the main purpose was to bring forth the legacy and to carry it forward. I just was their last lifetime. They didn't need to do this, but they did it because it was their last. We also have here the mental challenges. We talked about the mental challenges and the mental concept that we face today in the modern world that are not too far off from the past itself. And that today in our modern world, we are now just starting to understand the modern concept of mental illness and how we can be able to help people with them going forward. And last but not least, we are also talking about the Five of Swords here, which is really indicating infighting the possibility of people not using magic or understanding what they're getting into, that could potentially bring forth the reimmersion of the witch trials, but this time with actual witches on trial. Thank you guys. Thank you, love. Yeah, I think it is definitely a good interpretation of the card. I do agree with you, Julie, especially the fact that connection of warning with the modern America repeating the past. It seems to be that we are on track to do that. And actually, we had the question, that was my question I've been talking about on the channel on Facebook. I've been talking about this internal feeling for a very long time, but the reimmersion of the Salem Witch Trial. And everybody keeps saying, no, that's never going to happen. But the thing is, there's been a strong feeling that I had for a long time. I had this strong feeling like about the California earthquake, the one in the subway shooter in New York City, those type of feelings I had for a long time. So the feeling is that chances are the Salem Witch Trial isn't far off. Maybe it might be metaphorical. It doesn't mean it has to be literal in a sense. So we're going to explore that today. We're going to explore it right now. You're welcome. I'm glad you find it fun, Sharon. Tell Lauren I said hi, by the way. Should we do the question? Yeah, let's do that question. Okay, this is what we're going to do next. Because I think it's really interesting that you guys understand the idea of what are witches and who are they? And are there any good or bad witches? Because I myself have very bad experiences with witches on YouTube, with other YouTubers who happen to be them. I'm not going to state who they are in any way, any form, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there aren't any good ones. And I'm going to talk about them and explain them and stuff like that. Now, I'm going to ask the cards directly. Now, if you are watching this channel and you're watching right now and you're on the live chat, feel free, if you believe that you are a good witch and you do nothing but with pure intention, feel free to kind of talk about your experience. I'm really happy and really open to the idea, because I would rather someone who is consider themselves a good witch to actually speak for themselves rather than somebody who does not identify as a witch at all speak for you. So if you would like to step forward, go ahead. But let's just get into it while we wait. So I'm going to pull some cards out, and we're going to ask the cards, what are wishes? How do they define wishes in the terminology of the tarot? And then who are they? And are there any good or bad wishes? Are there any good or bad wishes? Well, there are good and bad pastors of the church. Good and bad doctors, good and bad teachers. Doctor, that's the right example to be using. So we are going to use this one. I think really this one really kind of shows the very mellow, sweet side and a really deep understanding of who are wishes in general. And I think the best way to really understand them is to allow the wish deck to talk for themselves. And this is the Raven Wand Oracle, in case you want to kind of know what deck I'm using. Okay. So spirits and angels, what are wishes? How do you define wishes? And who are they? Are there any good or bad wishes? Okay, this is the definitions of the card that represent who are witches, right? Who are witches? Okay, that's a little too much. Who are witches, spirits, and angels? Okay, so it's all reversed, which is interesting, but we'll be able to explore that. Many of us doing this type of work could be considered a witch. That is true. That is 100% true. You are not wrong in that regard. I think it's also the fact in terms of what you as an individual define to be witchcraft. If you believe that you are a witch and you identify as that, you are indeed a witch. But I think there is a certain level and certain degree in order to be classified and be able to be seen as a witch. For me specifically, I don't identify, even though I do tarot and stuff like that. I don't identify as a witch, particularly because I don't have the intention to become one, or even the energy or the internal feeling to be one, if that makes any sense. Yes. So midwives used to be accused of witchcraft and any female healers. Yes. So when a baby was being birthed out of a woman, they didn't understand that sometimes like the umbilical cord or you know, those things when it kills the baby, they blame the midwife for doing some sort of witchery in her area to prevent the baby from being born. And it was very common back then that babies died upon birth or even before birth with potentially miscarriages. That was again because of misunderstanding about how babies are properly supposed to be taken care of, especially during pregnancy. So let's ask the question, answer the question. Now, this is what the cards are telling me. Doesn't mean this is the direct answer to what this is, right? This is just what the tarot is telling me. Okay, so the first card we have here is what is a witch? We have independence here. And the independent card is reversed. And what it really means to be a witch is to be someone who is of good intention. You kind of see here in a way, you kind of see this lion with like kind of like an axe with animals nearby, but like meat hanging on the wall. Right? I think that's a meat. No, that's a bag. Never mind, it's a bag. What it is indicating here to me, this is indicating that sometimes it can be quite stressful to not be able to distinguish the difference between reality and the spiritual world, especially when you are a witch or you identify as a witch. You are intermingled between both worlds, and almost like in a way it converges together. It collides to the point where there is no distinguish, there is no veil anymore. It's just become in unison with one another. So to really what it means to be a witch in terms of the definition of tarot, it is indicating here that it is the combination of two forces becoming one, right? Two forces being in unison, and the veil is no longer there. Um, the dividing veil or the barrier is lifted. Now we're asking is, who are they? Who are witches? Right? We have here Daisy and the Dandelion. It is reversed. And what this is indicating here to me is that, in a way, who are witches? Witches are, and this is a very broad spectrum. It is a very, very broad spectrum. But in one aspect, who are witches? They are people who will be classified as someone who would be of Earth, who is Earth and is with the Earth. So it is somebody who is loving, who is kind to Earth, who understands Earth, who is one with the Earth. And it's almost like, in a way, they are the walking representative of Mother Gaia. Now, that is not indicating for those who practice bad type of dark energy. This is talking about those who are of the light, those who will practice with good intention, with good emotion. So those people walk with Mother Nature. They work with her. They help them. They have pure intention. Their job here is to bring positivity and healing and love and light to all. Now, underneath this independent card, for understanding what drives the real focus here for what it means to be a witch and who are they in general, we have the commitment. And the commitment here card is that, in a way, each person does not have the same intention with the same thought process as another witch. And that is because it is so, like I said, it's so diverse in understanding. Everybody has different motives and different understanding on how their mind works and concepts in general. That what it is telling me here, that there is no same witch that could be easily compared to one another. Yes, there are some people who have shared negative energy that could be put into a group, and there are those who have good energy who could be put in another group. But what it is saying here, that each individual has a different thought process with different intention and different perspective on how they view the world and how they view themselves as a witch. We have here, though, are there any good or bad witches? And the card here is taste before judging. For those we talked about here earlier in the video, we talked about not doing things and not understanding what you're getting yourself into can cause a lot of consequences going forward. This card here is indicating being in a way that you allow your emotions, right? This big tent, and it has that little fire, that light inside of it. You allow your emotion to be ignited, right? And that then controls you. You see this woman? She is being controlled, right? She's being forced against her will while she's trying to hold this thing back, right? What this is indicating here is that don't allow that passionate, that fiery energy, that emotion to take control of you. And so, in a way, what it is indicating here, yes, they're good and bad. The question is, who do you let win? Do you feed the lion who is hungry for starvation, for revenge, or do you feed the lion of peace, love? Whatever you feed more will be the one that will win. The belief in Satan and witchcraft were linked together by the church. Yes, so the belief of Satan and witchcraft were linked together by the church. Actually, believe it or not, and a lot of you guys may not know, actually, believe it or not, the Catholic Church has a tendency to practice a lot of dark magic compared to actually people who actually do practice witchcraft. But we'll talk about that in another video and how in depth the society in the Salem, not in Salem, in the Catholic Church really is. Like, for example, they were part of the Reformation. Excuse me. Oh my God, what am I saying? They were part of the birth of vampires, and we'll talk about that in another video. But they themselves practice and dabbled in a lot of the mythical creatures that we have today in our TV shows and stuff like that. Was the direct correlation, and it came directly from the Catholic Church themselves. So, yeah, I don't disagree with you at one bit. The Satan was a fictional creature that was created who sprung fear into people during the 1400s to force them into submission within against their own will. In a way, Lucifer, by the other hand, Lucifer Morningstar was a god who was directly correlated with Satan and was classified as that, even though they are two separate entities, those two separate beings. And Lucifer, in this aspect, his name means illumination, enlightenment. And it is enlightenment of knowledge, right? There's a reason why it was classified and directly correlated to Satan, because Satan, in a way, had a negative connotation by that point, and so it made sense to prevent people from reading books and reading knowledge and gaining wisdom is by classifying that by something that people feared, right? The same classic idea, same classic mentality that people had during the witch trial, but blaming the common enemy that was understood for something that was misunderstood as a rational response. That's why the word wish is very broad, because many people who are afraid of people that have abilities such as being psychic, they will call them a witch. Yeah, exactly. I agree with that. And you can see that today. You see like in our politics, right? We call wokeness, right? That is the fight against wokeness. Like even today, there is talked about a potentiality of killing people who are psychic, who practice spirituality of some sort, because they don't conform to the normality of Christianity in their view. Now, the problem with Christianity is a lot of people think, okay, they want to create a Christian nation, but there are so many different classifications of what it means to be a Christian, from what's it called, Protestant to Catholic to Christian to Calvinism, and all those type of different Christians. That one person say, oh, I want to create a Christian nation, but someone else may want to create a different version in their head of what they think the country should be like. So in the end, if they all end up fighting against each other, they might just take each other out, because they can't seem to understand and get to the same idea and concept of religion in general. I believe there is good and bad in anything. History depicts witches as a bad thing. Back then, people didn't have to understand that type of power. Yes. And also, fun fact as well, if you guys didn't know about witches actually also came from the time period in which brew or beer was being made, and it was heavily dominated by women. So while the men was out working, women would take cauldrons and they would make beer. And eventually, there was a businessman who wanted to make sure that was a dominated male field, who spread rumors saying that witches were cauldrons, were putting poison and trying to poison the village. And ever since then, that word has spread around, which is why you see the depiction with a witch with a cauldron. Ever since then, the beer community, even from the modern day world, has 2% women, and it is a 98% dominated male field, when it used to be, back then a couple centuries ago, it used to be a dominated female field for beer. So that's where the brew came from. That is also where wishes with cauldron came from, because you guys didn't know that. Yeah, so that is right. Woke is the opposite of fashion, so be woke. Remember, like I said, they are classifying Lucifer as Satan, right? Because Satan is a dark entity everybody understands is evil and whatever, is man-made or whatnot. But then we have Lucifer, which means enlightenment and wisdom. Right? Woke means understanding, being awake, seeing what's around you, observing, understanding, right? Well, that's what woke means, right? Wisdom is woke. Knowledge is woke. So the modern world, the modern day, is telling you to not be woke. They're telling you to be asleep, is what they're trying to tell you. Now, the last question I'm probably going to cover today, just because it is a long video, unless you guys want to keep going, because, I mean, it is a Halloween event, so feel free. Why did I get the Salem Witches were coming back in August of 2021? That's when I got it, and then, everything happened with Roe versus Wade later on. But actually, believe it or not, I did actually went back to one of my videos, and I did talk about Roe versus Wade, but I didn't mention it. But I had an indication that it felt like it was going to be overturned, and I was describing how women in the country was going to be feeling, but it was classified under vaccines. But that was an Easter egg. What did that mean? And okay, so what did I get? Why did I get the Salem Witches were coming back in August of 2021? And what did that mean? And are they actually here? Or was it symbolic of the craziness that Salem faced when accusing people? So we're going to explore that right now. I think that's a good question on my end to really understand why I felt the way I did. And you let me know what you guys feel as well. So Spirit Angel, tell me, why did I feel like the wishes were coming back in 2021? Why did I feel like the Salem Witches were coming back? Actually, I might do a visitation. I'll see if maybe one of them can come in after this. 'Cause, 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 Oh, okay. So it's here now. Okay. So I haven't really done a video on how I found out about one of my abilities with that I was able to bring someone into the light and be able to walk them through the entire process. I have even spoken to somebody, one of my clients who have not died, but I have walked her through what she was going to experience because I was there with her. She had not died, she's still alive and whatnot, but I have seen what it was going to look like and I described it and she resonated with it very well. And for this aspect, that feeling that I talked about earlier in the video where I said that they might potentially be coming to visit us or in this video and talk to me and I will guide them into the light. Well, I have made a video and I have talked about that in my death video where I haven't gone too in depth with it, but we do have the ghost card here, and it does come in this aspect here. Is why did I get the Salem wishes were coming back? And what it just answered to me is that the reason why I felt the way I did was those wishes were coming back to tell me their story before they went, when they needed me to help guide them into the light. Because I understand people in a way that other people wouldn't. I forgive people. I understand them. Yes, you may have been bad, you may have done stuff, but I'm still going to treat you with the same love and respect that I would want to be treated. And so, in a way, it will make sense for them to come to me as well. Not saying that I'm superior over other people who have this ability. It's just that I won't judge them for who they are. Even if I have bad experiences with Richard, doesn't mean that I won't judge them based on that because I will not judge them. I will protect them and I will love them just as if they were anybody else. And so this card comes here as ghost, and it comes in through as regret, right? It's a regret. And the card that is followed here is the death card reversed. And it said the eternal cycle begins here, but it is reversed. And that card is indicating that the eternal cycle, since when they died, is coming to a close. It is coming to an end. And that if you look in a way in the card, in the ghost card, you kind of see her looking up. And you see that light being cast down. In a way, for those who have gone to Salem and you may come back in a few years from now, you may not feel a presence anymore. Those people may have gone out. They may have finally passed on. They have finally left purgatory. They finally have left. And I'll go more in depth about the possibilities in death and how it does not have one size fit all for everybody. Like, the Catholic Church says heaven or hell, there is a different size for everybody. And I'll go more in depth with that. I have been making a presentation, but I have to kind of like get enough energy to do it. But when I do, I will explain death in a very deep detail in a way that you guys would be able to understand death like no other. And the card here does come in as eternal love. And the love is love, and it will transcend physical death. But what it is talking about here is, in a way, these people who were witches or who were claimed to be witches who died of Salem, the reason why they haven't been able to pass on, haven't been able to go forward, was because nobody recognized why they lived and what their purpose was, and no one loved them enough to recognize their own existence. And so, in a way, like I said, ghosts and spirit, when they are bothering you or they're around you, all they want you to do is just acknowledge that they exist and acknowledge their presence. Once you do those two things, they will leave you alone. They will not bother you. They will hurt you or anything. You can ask them to respect your boundaries or whatnot. But as long as you acknowledge that they are there and exist, and you acknowledge that they're in existence, they will leave you alone, regardless of who it is or whatever entity it is. They will leave you alone. And that is what it is indicating here as well. It's indicating that these people just want to simply be acknowledged that they are good people with good hearts and that they were wrongly accused. Even if their names are removed off of it and they were acquitted or whatever that is, whatever they do to remove it. The thing is, they want it directly from people who have heard the stories, the legacy that was passed on. Because part of the soul contract was that they lived in purgatory and they're hoping to get into the light. They're hoping to finally get past it, to start the next phase, the next cycle. So the reason why I've been feeling this energy that the Salem Witches were coming back was simply because they were ready to go. They're ready to finally let go of what happened to them and move forward. So I asked anybody today if you would like to tell me your story, and I'll be more than happy to pass you through. And this is the first time that I'm doing this live, but normally I do this separately on my own with a client normally, because sometimes they have a tendency to possess people to try to get my attention. But yeah. Anybody want to come through? Is anyone coming through? Anybody who wants me to pass them, or anybody who wants to talk about their story about what happened in Salem in 1692, I think. Okay, I'm not exactly sure. There were two girls who came in. One of them was named Mary Joseph. Another one was Amanda Joseph. But Amanda says here that she was not documented, so she was not in the record in terms of what she experienced. Have you? So who's talking? Okay, Mary Joseph. Are you documenting the history books? Like, are you recorded? Are you like lost? Oh, so Mary Joseph said she was recorded, but Amanda Joseph said she was not. Um, are you guys related? Okay, so they said that they were on the bench during the trial. What did you say? They said that I'm seeing like this almost like this Wild West room with a closing door, but in the end, in the back room, there was like this big dark mahogany type platform, and there was the Reverend, and they said that the Reverend was there overlooking the judicial system, and he said, "All fellow beyond me," whatever that means, may be seated. That all may take an oath for those who claim that they did not practice witchcraft. All right, so they said, I hereby declare that anybody who practices witchcraft shall, or anybody who, like, basically the oath is that you basically stand up and you say, I do not practice witchcraft. And what it was basically that if you were accused of witchcraft after, you basically lied under oath. That's what it feels like. I feel like that's what's going on here, is that he's basically setting the stage for people to be falsely accused by forcing them to take an oath. Everybody in the courtroom take an oath that they must stand up and hold the hand that I indeed did not do witchcraft or whatnot, and that if you were accused, you have lied under oath, and therefore you are subjected to the death penalty or being hung because you were classified as a witch, and therefore you lied, and that was one of the things. Can you kind of tell me a little bit more about the story? So they're telling me that there were two young girls. So there were two young girls. Oh, okay. So there are two young girls, and have you guys both died, or in person, or? Okay, so they said one of them died in prison during the whole shenanigans. The other one ran away, which is probably why she was not documented. That made a lot more sense. Can you tell me a little bit more about what happened in the courtroom, though? Okay, so I think they said Tishiba was. I believe it's the black one, the black slave. I think it was. Was it a slave? I'm not sure. I think it might have been a maid. I have no idea. Um, okay, who is Tishaba? Okay, so they said that she was wrongly accused of witchcraft, though, so she was not a witch. She didn't have evil intention. She did confess. That is in the history of the book, by the way. They just confirmed that she did the storyline incorrect here. Okay, so what they're saying is that what's really interesting about the story in the history book that was not told or explained was that it did not talk about a white woman who falsely accused her because of her color, the color of her skin. Not she was, excuse me, she was accused because of the color of her skin. So it felt like, in a way, the child's mother may have accused the woman because she herself was starting to experience some sort of mental illness or some sort of foodborne illness, whatever it was, that her children were experiencing, but she couldn't have that be known to the public. And so she falsely accused somebody else at the expense of her own self. And what it is telling me here that Tishaba was the perfect person to accuse. So they ended up uh, agreeing and coming to the conclusion that Tishaba was indeed a witch. They had come to the conclusion that she was indeed guilty and found guilty of witchcraft, and they had put her in prison for Tishaba. So they're saying what's really interesting about Tishaba is that she would never originally originated from Salem. Came to Salem 3 years prior to what took place in Salem Witch Trial. So she came 3 years prior to the witch trial occurring. So she was the perfect target because she was new. So everybody had some sort of suspicion already built up, which made her the perfect person to target. So they said that she came from a nearby town in northern Canada, which is now where Canada is. So she came from the north, so maybe like Newfoundland or something like that. But she came somewhere from the north. She came to Salem in hope of a new life, a hope of a new image of some sort. We're talking about the woman Tishaba. Now, I'm not exactly sure if she's even real, but that is what I'm just hearing from the two girls, Mary Joseph and Amanda Joseph. So if anybody wants to do some background check right now, please do. This would be very helpful. Is there anything else? Okay, so they say that in the Salem Witch Trial, where they hung people, was that they had like this big rock that was smooth. So it was almost like a slate of some sort, but it would go down on a hill. But there would be like this tippy point on the top of it where it would have like that you know, you've seen like on a ledge, you know, where the little cement ledge on like where all the buildings is in the suburb, that are cement ledge. And if you put your feet on the flat end, you'll still be able to stand on it, even if the front of your toes are like hanging off on with your feet or whatever. If you lean down, you lose your balance, right? And so what they had done is that they found a slate of rock somewhere in the woods or whatever, and it was kind of like on a slate, but it had that kind of like that flat and then kind of goes down like almost like what's that? A skateboarding rink, kind of like that, and it kind of goes down. And what they did was they would take these people and have them have their feet on the top end where it will rest on top. And what they would do is that they would put a noose around their neck and hang them. And it would be like kind of like situated to a tree branch that's really heavy and really thick. So what they would do is that they would train these branches to be really strong enough to be able to hold these people, to be able to hold them and hang them. And what they've done is that they would make them confess while a noose is around their neck, basically not giving them a proper trial. So they, out of fear, would agree that they were indeed a witch and hope that they will save them, when in retrospect, once you have said that you were gone. And what they're saying is, the normal traditional depiction in Hollywood movie was that they will put them on a chair and they kick the chair down and will kill them. But what she's saying is that it's kind of not the same case. What's in this aspect here is that there will be a branch that will hang them by a noose and have their feet resting on the rock. And what they would do is, after they have confessed it, out of fear, they will kick the feet forward into where the empty spaces where they can't reach the top part of that rock anymore, forcing them to have nowhere else to breathe or go, to the point where they just kind of end up choking and end up dying because of the noose. But that is kind of how they did it. Yeah, it's pretty barbaric, really. Can anybody look up, Julie, do you mind if you can look up if Tishaba is real? Just, I'm curious. Is there anything else? Okay, so they're telling me that tree where they did the witch trial, that tree was cut down long ago. And they're saying that the story of Salem now with the new tree or whatever it is where they hung them is not real. They're saying that tree was not the tree from the past. I think so, Tishiba. How do you spell it? So they say Tuba, something like that. Tuba, Tishuba. Is that how you pronounce it? Is that how you guys studied in the past? Or is that like a nickname or something? That sounds like Italian. Why would you call somebody Tishuba now? It sounds more like Tishuba. Oh my God, what's his name? Tishuba. Sounds more accurate than Tishuba now. Whatever, that sounds really weird. They almost sound like marinara sauce. I don't know why. Is there anything else, guys? Mary Joseph or Amanda Joseph? Anything else? Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna pass them to the light now because they said that they're done. So okay, so what I'm doing is I see them right now in my third eye and I'm walking them in the tunnel. And the tunnel is kind of the shape of a U. No, it's like a U. Let me draw it. I'm gonna draw it right now. So we'll do here. We'll do this. So you kind of know. I'll go more in depth a bit with it later on. Oh, Tishiba was real? Huh. Okay. Thank you for confirming. Okay. So this is what I'm seeing. So it's like a U. Okay. It kind of looks like something else. There you go. Yeah, so this right here is where we're walking, okay? We're walking right where the arrow is, okay? This is the main entrance. This is where we're walking. Oh, Tishiba was a real witch? Okay. Some real revelations here. Interaction. Okay. So, what I'm seeing here is the two girls. So one of the girls on the left side, one of them is wearing pink. I don't see the other one. I don't know what the other one is wearing. It might be blue, but could be wrong. Could be like sky blue, but I see mostly pink and one girl. I do see them have a really long hair. The hair was kind of like brunette, a bit, and I'm holding one girl on the left side, and I'm holding the other one on the right side, and I'm walking them through this tunnel. Or she was a real person, but I thought from the Caribbean. I have no idea. That's what they told me. I don't know. I mean, I would love confirmation because sometimes actually I talked about this in another video with a Nazi soldier, which is why I'm doing this visitation, because they have come to me in the past, and the guy said like I waited 84 years for you. That's when that video was before that video was made. I spoke about how the Nazi soldier came to me, and I actually did the math, and it took place. He died in 1939, and that was right before the actual start of World War II, and it was getting started, the battle in Poland, before the actual wars began. So it feels like in a way he died before the war in Poland started. So he died in 1939. So I would like confirmation to make sure that this is legit. Wikipedia says Toshiba was an enslaved South American Indian. Okay. Does it say anything, any sort of relation to Salem of any sort? It could, because I assume based on the name Toshiba that it might be, it might have multiple meanings. There might be somebody named Toshiba. It might be somebody in the north as well. So maybe that person might be from South America, but is there anybody that might have some sort of connection to Salem at all? So what's happening is I'm walking them through this tunnel. And normally in this tunnel, when the other guy, I had a tea, and he was a tea, I'll show you that in another video. And I'll talk about death, and I'll go more in depth with my abilities and how I discovered them at another time. But what I'm kind of seeing them, and I'm walking them towards the middle, right? I'm walking towards them, and it kind of rounds out from both corners. And on one side is another door, right? But on this side, there is a door. But the right side is locked. But on the left side is open. On the left side, I see like this orange shoe. So I'm going to take a kind of quick look. I'm not going to go in it. I'm just going to... Okay, so it's saying Salem and a black witch. Okay, thank you, Sharon. So this person is legit. Like, this person actually is a witch, not the one who falsely said that she was a witch. But can everybody confirm that she actually practiced witchcraft? So what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing this door on the left side here has a dark orange shoe with fog coming out. And I'm going to take a quick look. I'm going to go over there. Can you guys stay there for a second? Just stay there right now. Okay, so what's really interesting about this specific tunnel here is that it's very woodsy. It has like moldy wood, so it's kind of not futuristic in the way in terms of where it's shaped. It's saying Salem and Black West. So yeah, so this person is legit. Okay. You don't see anything about the victim with the name surname Joseph. I know one of them is Joseph Mary Joseph, and the other one was Amanda Joseph. Oh. So they must be sisters. I know one of them said that one of them ran away and the other one died in prison. So maybe you might want to look up into the Salem prison system during Salem. Maybe she may come up. Yeah, so I'm going to take a quick look. I've been trying to look in here. I haven't been able to see anything, but what I've seen is in this U shape here is all the entire building internally, because when you die, what you kind of see or what you imagine your life to be is what your death path looks like. And in this case, it looks like a mutilated mushroom that's been cut in half is what this looks like. And inside, it has like this moldy wood that kind of gives like a Salem Witch vibe, a witch vibe to it. It kind of feels like very spooky, very dirty, very unclean in a way. And that's what this looks like here. So what I'm also doing right now is I'm telling the girls to stay where they are at the end right here. So this is where the two girls are right here. The girls are at that point right there, and I'm walking this way. I'm trying to see what's at that door. Okay. Okay, so okay, there's some dark energy there. So this door right here, the orange hue, is coming out with this dark black creature that kind of has like this dark hand. You know, from earlier, if you guys were watching earlier, they had this dark hand creature from the Modern Witch Tarot deck. Um, it's like coming out, it's like give me, give me, give me. It's almost like it wants those girls, and it feels like in a way, the idea of witchcraft or the depth that has been around them that are falsely accused because people hated them so much that they blamed them, that the energy is permeating. So those people who have died and who have accused these people are in this door. And I'm not saying hell exists, but it feels like in a way there's energy, that emotion, right, is a part of them. And you know, the thing that people don't understand about emotion is that you as an individual, every person transition, where everybody gets the next step. But that emotion that you feel at the time of a certain individual's life stays with them forever. That is a part of you. That is a little clip of you that will be with them. So when they die and you are in there, that is where you are in their reality. In your reality, you might be somewhere else. But that little emotion, that hate, that anger, this also applies to love as well. But in terms of this regard, in terms of the question here, is that those people who have blamed these girls or blamed everybody who have witchcraft are going here. In this case, these two girls, I feel like in a way, if they accused some people, then the consequences were that they had karma and it happened to them and they were accused of witchcraft, which is why one of them probably ran away and the other one ended up dying in prison. And remember, keep in mind, these were not adults, they were children. And so in a way, I know what's behind this door because I've been here and I took a Nazi soldier here. And I'll explain it in another video on why and how it happened. That was in the depth video. If you go to learning life and most important lessons, if you go to there and you scroll to depth, I explain and I walk through the process of death and my understanding and my new abilities that I didn't know I had just randomly happened in front of a client that I had, where it developed like that. So eventually, if you guys book a reading with me sometime in the future, and right now I'm not open to reading, but there might be a possibility where I discover a part of me that is unknown virtually as of right now. There were 3 women and 1 man who died in prison waiting for the trial to begin. Okay. Was there any children who died, or were women in this aspect classified as children? Was Joseph's sisters, Chris? What were the first names again? Amanda and Mary. Mary Joseph and Amanda Joseph, yeah. Yeah, so the dark energy, their karma here is going here. So they're not going to be able to open that door as of right now. This is where they're going. Because the reason why they're going here is because they accuse people and caused them to end up passing away. So basically what I'm seeing for them in terms of the forward is that they're going here. And you know, part of that door there is that it's not a bad door. It just means that they have to relive those moments again and again for a few more times before they have to live those moments again and again before they're able to understand that what they did were wrong. Now they understand it, but they were also children. And so they're being held accountable as if they were adults in this spirituality light. So they understood that they have to be able to step forward as mature adults, what they are now, to go into the light, because they've been waiting in purgatory type of thing, waiting for a little bit, and they're going to that door. They're going to that door. There's nothing I can really do. I don't really see anything else in terms of walking them. I don't see them anymore. I just saw that door, and that was it. And I see them, the last time I left them was here. I don't see them anymore, so I don't know where they are. I found that. What did Teshima say when she was accused? Paris refused to pay her bail. Meanwhile, more and more indictments and arrests piled up as Salem gave into a town-wide panic. Later, Teshima recanted. She told a magistrate that she had made up everything after her master beat her in an attempt to force a confession in July 17, 2018. So is it possible that those girls were speaking of how they forced a lot of these people to stand on the ledge and forced to confess that they were witches when the noose was hanging around their neck? So it's possible that, in a way, what she was talking about here, that there was something similar in that similar faction, not meaning that, she had a noose around her neck, but in a way, she was being abused and she wanted it to stop, so she ended up confessing, which appears to be what happened. Later, Teshima recanted. She told the magistrate that she had made up everything after her master beat her in an attempt to force a confession. That's so sad, honestly. That is horrible. Let me see if I can see where they are, though, because I haven't seen them. So while we're waiting for more of you guys to respond or get me information on Mary and Amanda, I'm going to try to see where the girls are. Okay. Now I know what the other one looks like. One of them is wearing blue, but she's wearing more of a conservative dress, more to her knees. And she is kind of like a dirty blonde. She's a dirty blonde. And they're both very friendly, really, to be honest. They're both very friendly. They're like, hi, but like kind of scared hi, like, like girls who are like very young and shy. They're like that. Can't find any victim named Mary who had a married or a maiden name of Joseph. Okay. Now that we're live, but like this is kind of interesting to see what's going on here. So let's do this. Let's do a detective work. Who wants to become a detective, right? That's kind of cool. So let's do this right here. So I'm gonna hold this up. Please again. Share screen. The official list by no means should be assumed to be complete. Yeah, that is true. That is right. You are 100% right. Okay, so let's see. Can you guys see this? Okay, you guys can see this. Okay, Mary. Okay, I just better not come up some Jesus stuff because I'm not ready for this. Okay, Joseph. Maybe it's spelled differently. Okay, Mary Joseph Salem Witch Trial. Let's see. Mary Bliss Parson, the Witch of Northampton, the Witchcraft Trial of Mary Parker. Jury finds Mary Parson not guilty of witchcraft. Mary Parker's home site of Salem. Joseph Ballard. Who are the three accused witches of Salem? Caribbean woman who was enslaved by the Paris family, Sarah Good, a homeless beggar, Sarah Osborne, an elderly impoverished woman. Who were the 13 witches of Salem? Let's see. Okay, let's see. Born in prison, died in prison, maybe? Who died? Sarah Hill, Jane, Lady Mary Phipps, Margaret Sheep Thaffer. They could have even lied to me. They could have even told me the wrong name, too. And Aunt Foster, Mercy, Sarah Osborne, Roger Toothcake Taker, John Mercy. Name but no arrests. Huh. But they did say that they were in a case, so maybe we could find a court case, and they might be written in a court case. They did tell me they were sitting down. Accused but survived. Let's see. Let's look up command find. We're going to look up Mary. Okay. Mary Jacobs, Mary Walcott, Mary Warren, Mary Black, Mary Bridge, Mary Colson, Mary Dyer, Mary Green, Mary Matson, Lady Mary Phillips, Mary Post, Mary Rowe, Mary Harrison Taylor, Mary Toothcaker, Mary Levitt Tyler, Mary Withred, Mary Baker. Was there anything Joseph though? I don't see Joseph. That's interesting. Okay. Huh. So let's do Amanda. Maybe it's spelled differently. What if it's spelled differently or pronounced differently? Let's do Joseph. Is there another way that people spell Joseph? I want to know who these people are. Huh. Let's see. Let's go. We should be using Wikipedia anyway. That stuff is fake. Okay. Joseph, Salem Witch Trial. Let's see. Amanda. Yeah. So the official list is by no means to be assumed to be completed. What does Tituba say? Okay, what does Tituba say when she confessed to witchcraft? The day that hell come to Paris' home, Tituba confesses to witchcraft after some time of questioning. Joseph Smith's great-grandfather Samuel testified against two women in the trial, though Joseph Smith, founder of the Mormonism. Okay. Tituba confessed to hell. I tell him the devil don't desire to work for him, sir. They said she was around 12 years old. This may be out of book. It had a page number. Okay. Joseph Samuel Smith. Joseph. Now, the one thing I do know is that the people in the 1600s spoke broken English. So there got to be some sort of broken English that they can't speak in direct English. So there's probably some sort of language barrier between me and them. So let's see if maybe we can find Amanda to meet. Okay, let's do broken English. Yeah, broken English. For name Amanda. Let's see if we can find. Oh, Amanda just popped up. Okay, this is not what I was looking for. For real. Okay. How do you say Amanda? Amanda in Old English, maybe. Okay, so it says here Amanda was a popular literary name in the 17th and 18th century. So, okay, so the 19th century was the 20th century. Yeah, so 1800s was. Wait, hold on. 1800s was the 1700s, and then the 1700s was the 1600s. Okay, yeah. So Amanda was just starting to come out, so it's possible that it's not in the search bar. It might not even be in the record. Okay, look for any surname starting with CH. Okay, that's a good idea. Mm, is there anyone with the surname with CH? Okay, this is not helpful. Is there any? Well, not for you. Like the I'm talking about Google. Is there anyone with the surname with CH in Salem? Let's just see what this means. Salem surname Is Arabic an objective to what means unharmed or safe? For example, if you went on a trip and came back unharmed, it's known that you came back Salem. The ironies in that. For real. Okay. Okay, let's do Salem. Convicted witches. Okay. We're gonna do Command F. We're gonna press CH. So there's gonna be 80 of them. Elizabeth Hutchinson. If you guys ever want to do this on your own time and also help me out as well, feel free to definitely do that because I'm very curious to find out who these people are. Oh, you know what? You remember we talked about, I think one of the girls said that they ran away. I wonder what if there is a nearby town of somebody related to either Mary Joseph or Amanda Joseph. Yeah, so we have Joseph Hutchinson here. Let's see. Let's take a look. Let's see who he's related to. Let's see. Is it gonna pop up or anything? Oh, so it's just a name. We have nothing else. Oh, these are accusers. So remember, we talked about the accusers too. So there might be accuser and accused but survived. One of them survived, at least one of them died. Mercy, infant child of Sarah Good. John Proctor, the second. Okay, so escaped or otherwise fled. So we have Mary here. We also have Mary here. Mary and Philip. We have another Mary here. I really want to know who these people are. Huh. Okay, let me look. What is a nearby town, Salem? Let's look up Salem and let's see what nearby town there is. Yeah, so 1600s with the 17th century. So they're not lying. So the Amanda is the real name in the 1600s. So it is viable that they are legit. So this might not be in the records. You know what I mean? We're looking right now too. Jafita was at one time a common first or middle name for women. Okay, because it's interesting though because they kept like when they were telling me their name, some of them kept saying that their name was Joseph and then Mary and then they kept switching it because I guess they might have not known if they put the first name or last name first. I just assumed it was Mary Joseph because that's how I just felt it because other ones were Amanda Joseph and just made sense that they would probably be sisters or twins or whatever. That's why I put the two together, thinking that, you know, it would make sense because they kept going back Mary Joseph, Joseph Mary, you know, stuff like that. Oh, it could even be a male and a female. It could also be Joseph Mary and Amanda, which is another one. Could be that too. Uh, okay, let's do Salem. What's nearby Salem? So let's look at the city of Massachusetts. Oh, Beverly. So let's take a look at Beverly. I don't know why. Let's take a look at Beverly. Is there like a way we can stalk people? Okay. Beverly, Massachusetts. Ancestry. Oh, okay. So Salem and Beverly. Let's see. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. I'm not filling out any of this stuff. About Salem and Beverly, Massachusetts, U.S. 17. Wait, hold on. What time? What? When did they die? 1692. Okay, yeah. So they won't even have the records on here. Now they wouldn't even have the records. Let's see. Family history, my tree, sorry tree, DNA explore. Let's see. Origin of last name, what my ancestors' lives were like. Okay, let's see. Joseph Mary. Oh, it could also be spelled like this. It could have started with a Y. And it says here Joseph is one of the most frequent surnames in Haiti, along with Jean and Pierre, and elsewhere in the West Indies. You know what? It's possible that the girls could be black. You know what I mean? It's theoretically possible, just based on what it appears to be, that they might be Caribbean, and that could be why they have that connection with Tishuba. But the thing is, though, that why would they mention Tishuba, who had darker melatonin, but potentially if the two girls or darker, just by hypothetical standpoint, then why wouldn't they be mentioned? Do you know what I mean? But there has been talk that when they buried the people in back then, they lost some people who died, so they have lost some bones. So it's possible that they are lost. Um, okay, so it says here that 11% of all people living in Massachusetts have 11% in terms of population. People with the last surname Joseph. So the name was found in the U.S. and the U.K. and Canada and Scotland between 1840 and 1920, which makes a lot of sense because Tishuba also, they said she came from the north 3 years prior to the Salem Witch Trial taking place, according to what the girls were saying. No, not a Y. Joseph is pronounced Joseph. If you heard Joseph, it wouldn't be spelled with a Y. Okay, you're right. You're right. Joseph is definitely Hebrew, so unless there was a Jewish family there involved in the trial, no. I don't think there were Jewish people there yet, right? No, because I don't think they came over to at least the United States or the beginning of the United States. I don't think they came until like later on, you know. Let's see, passenger list, draft card. What if, because they did say one of the girls did escape, which means that she probably lost her name Joseph. And the problem with Maya Joseph, oh, we have Maya Joseph, okay. No. Okay, that's unhelpful. Okay, Griffin, Margaret. Let's see, let's search here. Modify filter. First name, Mary. Joseph. Oops. Search. 1975, 1869. Let's do birth year. Let me just modify the birth year. Okay, birth that year. So let's put. They only let me go to the 700. Let's just do 700. Let's see. So if we go to the 700s, we might be able to. Okay, so it's not a Mary, so it might be Amanda. Huh. Let me see how else you spelled it. Yeah, I'm 200 years old. I'm just trying to find 600, but I can't find 600. It only allows me to go up to 700. You know, funny though, because I'm not actually 200 years off in the research. I know you think that. It took place, the Salem Witch Trial took place in 1692, and this only goes as far as back as 700. So if they only went back like 80, we'll be on par, you know what I mean? But I was thinking maybe if I could find somebody who within the lineage in Massachusetts, I might just get lucky or fortunate enough. So what I am going to do is I am going to look up Joe's stuff and put it in the timeline 1700. And erase this, and we're going to put Salem. Massachusetts. (1778, 1811), unavailable. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Look at Joe stuff. Anybody in 1773? I don't even know how to even get this record, because how would they even know that this person was born in 1773? Explain that to me, honestly. Okay. I have no idea, honestly. If you guys really ask me, I have no idea. Just up? No. You were in a name for the 1800s when you posted that comment. Probably, yeah. Probably was. Yeah, the first Jews came and settled in New York, Amsterdam. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know that. That's why I said it can't be Jewish. I think you were right. It definitely can't be Jewish. It was a possibility, but um, it's possible that they got lost in the record. Because it doesn't. Well, maybe actually, let me just 23 and me. Let's just 23 and me. Yes, that's true. Let's see. I'm not promoting this, by the way, guys. We're just trying to find something. Get out of invitation, so I wanted to see if the person was legit. That's all. Because they're like, again, I'm not promoting this. Family tree. Maybe we can find out here. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. They're not gonna let me actually search the thing. I didn't get to pay to find out what your family tree is. Let's see. Services, ancestry and trade, 23andMe membership, invested about us, blah blah blah. No one cares. No one cares about this either. Okay, yeah, I don't think I could find it as of right now. I'll have to like really do like some in-depth research in like like a library or something to really find out who they really are, because I have found information that has been confirmed later on. So if you guys end up finding out that there was an Amanda Joe stuff or a Mary Joe stuff that lives in Salem, or one who escaped Salem, definitely let me know, because I would definitely love to make sure that this is confirmed, because we obviously confirmed that Tissue Bird is real, so in that part of the story it is legit. But I'm not exactly sure about those two girls who claimed that they were there in the course, saying that they saw this whole thing go down. So what we're going to declare this visitation is we're going to declare that it is not afterable to determine whether or not the people who visited me are telling the truth. So we're going to hold it and just say it's up for speculation until further notice or further information. And later down the line, if you guys end up finding information, you guys can say, hey, listen, a Mary Joseph or Amanda Joseph is real. And you put it in the comment section. Whenever you guys watch this video and whenever you revisit, you can always check the comment section. It might just be there. And people say, hey, confirmed, we finally found information. Or this person might never be found and it might just be lost to history as well. So there is that as well. There's a probate record for Mary Joseph in Salem during this time. Really? I text you something on it just now about her daughter. Okay, so I'll look at my phone right now. So there's a probate. What exactly is the probate? So you found somebody named Mary Joseph in Salem. Okay. So that's good. We're actually getting somewhere then. Welcome to detective, crime thing, guys. If you don't know, it was a visitation. So we're talking about my visitation. So this was somebody who visited me while we were doing a video. Okay, so Sarah, which is this one right here, Sharon, excuse me, oh my God. She just texted me, so I'm reading what she texted me now. It says, only the stars know her name, Salem Lost Story of Tishba. Maybe it was her daughter's daughter. Look at this good read. Open up the book. It tells a lot. Okay. I'm going to send this. I want to pull it up on this. Oh, I have to buy the book though, Sharon. All right, let's look it up. Let's look up good read. It talks about two sisters. Okay, perfect. So we'll look it up right now. I'll pull everybody up so we can show on the screen. Share screen. Thank you for that, by the way, Sean. Okay, so can you guys see this? Okay, perfect, you can. All right, so we're going to look up what you said, good read. Okay, we're going to type in the book that you said, Only the Stars Know. Again, guys, I am not promoting this website. Okay. Okay, so this book is about by Amanda Marone. False accusation of false confession of witchcraft in Salem, Massachusetts, took her mother, Tishba, away from her. Now, Violet seeks revenge on those who tore her family apart. Readers will be instantly transported back to the time in this dark and gripping novel. It has been a year since the Salem Witch Trial ended, and while the town people try their best to act like nothing happened, 13-year-old Violet simply can't. As evidence she had held dear was ripped away from her. Her mother, Tishba, was accused of witchcraft by Betty and Abigail Parrott, who two girls Violet has grown up with and regarded as sisters. And instead of denying their allegation, Tishba has confessed to the crime. But why? Her mother would never have done the wicked acts she was charged with. Would she? Once the remaining accused of witchcraft are pardoned, Violet inquires about her missing parents, only to learn that Reverend Powers has sold them to a man who took them north. That's interesting because I said Tishba came south, came from the north and came south to Salem 3 years prior. Now filled with rage and wanting retribution, she comes across Tammy Younger with Elizabeth Prince, two girls who are also seeking vengeance and all this turmoil. Together, the three form a coven, singing the name to the devil's book. They find solace in the newness and excitement of the magic that they've been practicing. But once the magic grows darker and forges a destructive path through the community, will Violet achieve the closure she longs for, or will the darkness consume all? The historical power story of family revenge and reconciliation is a can't-miss novel by Amanda Marone. Now, it's possible that this is metaphorical as well, but I'm curious. Okay, so we are going to find this out by typing Amanda. Well, aka the person's name is also Amanda. Okay. Okay, maybe. What about Mary? No, something about Mary, right? See the meme there? There's nobody mentioned the name Mary, apparently. The thing I want to know is who they killed. Or why haven't they been found? Why is the story not known? Probate would mean she was mentioned as somebody else's estate or will, listed as a minor, and not showing me the document though. Yeah, it talks about two sisters, Shine, but it doesn't seem to be pointing to the sisters that we were talking about today, about the Joseph sisters. Yeah, so probate, you said that there was a probate record for Mary Joseph in Salem during this time. Probate would mean that she was mentioned in somebody's will or estate and was listed as a minor, not showing me the document though. It's probably not showing you the document, particularly because it might be private information because it's the family's information. You think they lied about their name? It's possible that they lied about their name, but also Julie also talked about what's it called? That Mary Joseph is shown in a probate in Salem during the time period in which I'm talking about right now during the Salem Witch Trial. So it's possible they did, but it's also not, because if you think about record keeping back then wasn't really good. You know what I mean? So I don't want to jump to the conclusion that they are 100% lying because I don't want to accuse them outright. But I will say the story is a little bit almost like it's hard to really know 100% who they are and if they can confirm it's legit. You know what I mean? As of right now, we're getting closer and closer to the thing. We're getting closer to actually Mary Joseph was a real person in Salem, and she was a minor. It appears to be so during the time period. So it's possible that they didn't necessarily lie. It might just be that there's barely any records of them, and that might just be that they might be bystanders. What do you think? What do you guys think? I know there's 7 of you guys watching right now. What do you think? You guys think they are being legit? Do you think? I feel like you really channeled these people. Yeah, I really feel like I did. I really think I channeled these people. That's why it was very interesting, because I had this strong feeling that they were going to come to me in the video and that they wanted to speak about their story. So I kind of don't want to dampen their messages, because, again, these people had the courage and the bravery to come and talk about their story. And I don't want to be the one to say, we're going to judge you and kind of point fingers at you. You guys can believe what you want to believe, and I completely agree with that. I don't want to, in a way, accuse them, because I want, people who come in the future who do visit me from, from a different type of video or, whatever. I do want them to feel welcome and accepted here as well. And I just want them to know that I hear them, regardless if I believe if their story is real or not. I just want them to feel heard, and I want them to feel like they're being acknowledged. Okay, so there is a probate record for Mary Joseph from the mid-1700s for Barnstable County, Massachusetts. Also is across the bay from Essex County, Salem. Okay, so there's also probate record for Mary Joseph. So I assume that you're talking about 2 separate people, right, Julie? So it's possible that Mary Joseph lived and Amanda Joseph died. Because remember, we talked about how one of them died in prison and the other one, one of them ran away. So it's possible that Mary Joseph is the survivor of a man compared to her sister who ended up dying. I don't know. I find it cool. A little bit different than what we normally do on the channel, which is a little bit unique in its own right. I'm going to turn Do Not Disturb off on my phone. Click on More when it opens. Okay, yeah, I'll click More when it opens. Okay, so you said here it would be a fairly common name, and I don't have an image of the first probate document to compare, so probably two people. Yeah, so it probably is two people. It sounds like two people. The energy shifted. Yeah, so I can invite the sisters back. Once they pass through, though, it's going to be harder to do it because I don't want to disturb their transition process. Right now, we never brought them to the door, but I just left them in the aisle, so I can see if I can have them come back. That's why I'm getting there. That's why I'm getting there's more to the story that they were telling you, many secrets. Do you think that maybe instead of me sending them to this process, that maybe I do a longer series where we kind of explore their story a little bit more in depth, like do one video a week and kind of like talk about the experience and then kind of getting to know who they are. Like I'll try to see if maybe I can get a day off where I'm not working, like at 11 p.m. at night, and be able to do a video, and we'll be able to talk about Mary Joseph and Amanda Joseph and kind of go a little bit more in depth and kind of give them more time and airtime. Would you guys think that might be the best solution to really finding out who Mary Joseph is? Because I know you guys that, I should probably ask for them back, right? That's why I'm getting that there's more to the story than they were telling you, many secrets. I think you're right. I think there is more to the story. And, do you think it's probably best that, we continue the series going forward, like do the Salem Witch Trial, Mary Joseph and Amanda Joseph, and kind of continue going forward and kind of see if maybe we can get more information out of them. It's worth a try, right? Okay. Yeah, so that's what we'll do then, because I was thinking that maybe we should maybe make it into a series and see if maybe we could find more information about them. It's possible as well that maybe after them we may get more stories or more people to come forward and transition them after the story's been told. We might even get a reverend, which I do feel like it might be the next person who may come in another time, but I'm feeling energy of a reverend here. So we might get that opposing aspect to the person doing the work. But also, again, as well, the reverend was also, some reverends were accused of witchcraft as well. So, we don't know what we're going to get in terms of the story. You could get decided where they're talking about them accusing other people or the part where they've been accused. So it'll be really interesting to really see how it goes down. So that's what we're going to do. That's what we'll end up doing. So before you guys don't go yet, I do have a couple of announcements, so please do not leave. One of my announcements is, and I'm going to pull this up on the screen right now so you guys can see. Let's see right here. Don't leave me yet. I just want to show you an announcement. My channel. Okay, so if you go down here to my page right here, we have Celestial Tarot, of course, and we're gonna have a video tomorrow night at 9:45 p.m. We're gonna be answering how Donald Trump reign ends. This is gonna be alluding to the Halloween Michael Myers series. Just happened to be that Halloween and came out the same month. We'll be talking about how Donald Trump's reign ends. We'll also be doing another video early on. I'll be recorded prior to this video. So if you have questions about Donald Trump, definitely come on and join us. Definitely hit the notification. Make sure you turn that on. And on Monday, Halloween, we're going to be talking about the northeastern December tornado that I kept seeing for a couple of years now and a feeling. So we're going to explore that as well. Then I'm going to go more in depth with videos about the governorship, the Senate, and the House. And yeah, we're going to be right at the midterm election. So hopefully I can be able to get more videos out for you guys. But that is where we're going to be at right now. So there's going to be a couple more live. It might be the last few lives for a while until Thanksgiving, because there's going to be a Thanksgiving event. But yeah, definitely come join us. I won't be doing a live coverage of the midterm election, but there will be no video afterwards. So that video will be deleted after, because I don't want to be sued for copyrights. So if you want to join, I will be doing a live coverage of the 2022 midterm if you want to join. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys that announcement before you guys go. So if I don't see you guys, happy Halloween to all of you. And let me know in the comment section below what you think of today's video. I didn't expect it to go as long, but it was really interesting that this video was a little bit different than what you guys are normally used to. I'm not sure if everyone saw you blank off the screen for a second on here like I did, but I felt some dark energy come through when I tuned into them, so something is hidden. Yeah, so, okay, so the dark energy, remember when I spoke about when I was taking them in the tunnel? Because they accused people, according to what I've seen, that they accused somebody of witchcraft. I think it was Tissue Bar as well. So they accused somebody of witchcraft, and then they will accuse of witchcraft afterward. And so they will refuse the second door, which is the blue fog. And in this door, it was like this dark black energy. It's almost like this dark creature trying to grab them and was saying, "Give me, give me." And it was the girl. It was the girl, but the girls never transitioned, so they're still here. Yes, I don't think they're ready to cross over. I don't think I agree with you on that because they haven't moved. I cannot find them. I just know that this is where I left them off. I left them right here. I cannot find them anywhere else. So they have not transitioned. They did not go into the next phase of the journey. They have not transitioned. So yes, I agree with you 100%, Sharon. I don't think they can transition. They can't even let me find them. So I can't find them, which is why why I recommend that we continue with the series going forward at the Salem Witch Trial series, because I can't find them anywhere right now, which is why I can't call them back, because I don't know where they are. So I can't find them at the moment, but hopefully I'll be able to get a hold of them and we'll be able to continue the series forward. It seems to be a lot of you guys interested in that, and Mary Joseph and Amanda Joseph, so we'll continue that going forward. But I can't find them, and I agree with you. I don't think the story finished yet. I think there's a lot more to the story that they're going to tell. So we're going to wait and see what they have to say. So yeah, in terms of that dark energy, was that been able to be explained, Sharon? What I was able to explain that dark energy for you? While I'm waiting for your response, I'm going to put some cards away. What time is it anyway? Oh, it's 11:47. Okay, it's not that bad. Not that bad. Okay. Ah! Oh my God! What? Why were you scared? I'm so sorry, guys. What is that?
Why the leaves are dropping off these plants?
Okay. You can show me that in a little bit. I'm live right now.
Root rot.
Huh?
Root rot. I think could be the reason why you're losing all your leaves.
It could be root rot, yes. That's why we need to pop holes on the side of the pot.
Yeah, well, we gotta look at
Okay. Sorry, guys. I got startled. Can you turn the light? Thank you. Yeah, so, sorry about that. If I hurt anybody's ears, I do apologize in advance. It was a little weird, okay? I didn't expect my dad to be standing there watching me. Sharon, was were they able to explain your question about feeling your dark energy about the girls? Okay, so while I'm waiting for her to respond, hopefully she's still watching. What do you guys think about today's video? Can I get some feedback? If you guys want to give me some feedback, what do you think? How do you feel about those girls personally? Do you guys pick up anything? Do you guys, whatever it is? Yeah, so I just played the singing bowl. I just put the singing bowl on now. Before I went live, Sharon, I asked the guys to keep out any sort of dark spirit or entity. I think I missed something what you were asking me. Sharon, I was asking you that was I able to explain the dark energy, the negative energy that I was that you were telling me that you were feeling or you felt about the girls? Were I able to explain that to you? Were you able to understand what I was saying? Did that answer your question? I'm glad you thought it was a good video. Yeah, it is late, so the video is going to end. I'm going to have to stay up for the night trying to timestamp this thing, so it's going to be quite fun. But yeah, so hopefully I see you guys all tomorrow. Hopefully. You felt they come to you? China, that's not good. They shouldn't be anywhere near you. That's not your concern. But I can't even find them. They're not even anywhere near me. I can't even get them. Do you put your protection on? If you guys don't know, me and Sharon are friends. We do YouTube together sometimes, but we kind of talk off the scene. But she can see them. She can feel them. She can understand them. You know, sometimes like me and her are very energetically connected, so she might be able to get them as well. So, yeah. Have a good night, guys. Hopefully, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay? You cleared them out. That's good. That's good. Well, I put your protection on, so if you guys are watching this video, your protection is on for all of you guys. So you guys are okay. It's just Sharon and me just have a little bit more of a spiritual connection. So she might get something that I get and vice versa. Like I'll be feeling really angry or something happened to me and I'll tell her and she'll tell me the same thing happened to her. And it'll just be like, we find out it's Mercury retrograde or whatever it is. So it just seemed to be that we're very attuned. It was because I was connected to you as usual. Yeah. And actually, ironically enough, that line you just said was in a vision that I had a long time ago of me doing this video with that line where you said, oh, it was because I was connected to you as usual. Yeah, me and you are energetically connected because me and you are on the same spiritual path. So it makes sense that me and you are together. Shine, if you're free tomorrow, I'm going to be doing that Trump video if you want to join me. But it's later on at night, so you don't have to worry too much because you still spend the rest of your day. It's just my birthday, so I figured after dinner I come home, I do a video for everybody, you know, because it's my day off, so why not? But if you want to come, let me know. You can text me. All right, guys. Thank you all for coming. I love each and every single one of you. Have a great night. Happy Halloween if I don't see you. Definitely pay attention. I will be going live in the next couple of days, and I will be going live and doing a live coverage for the midterm. Go out and vote, vote, vote. It will make a difference, trust me. Yes, also you lived in those times. That is right. You did tell me that. You did tell me that you were one of the accused. So it'll be interesting to see if maybe one day, you know, if you were open to the idea of maybe us doing a past life regression with you and see if maybe we can find out what happened if you want to do some sort of understanding who you were in the past life, if that's something you're interested in. All right, I'm going to end the video. I'm tired, and I have a lot of work to do for you guys tomorrow with Trump, and that's going to be quite an interesting task. So I am going to leave you guys all to it. You escaped. Yeah, so you're one of those people who escaped. So you're not even on the record. Do you even know what your name is? Actually, why don't we continue this in another series Well, you talk about the story if you want to talk about it, if you're open to the idea of talking about it. All right, guys, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna ask you to shut up and go to sleep. So good night, guys. I love you and happy Halloween to all of you guys.